You have a choice. Right now, in this moment, you can choose to keep living the way you always have, or you can choose to step into something new. You can choose to let your past define you, or you can choose to write a new story. You can choose to settle for a life of quiet desperation, or you can choose to fight for a life of meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. It won't be easy, it won't be comfortable, but it will be worth it. Because the greatest rewards in life are reserved for those who are willing to do what others won't. For those who are willing to face their fears, to embrace discomfort, to keep moving forward no matter what. So, as you listen to these words, I want you to ask yourself, what am I willing to fight for? What am I willing to sacrifice for? What am I willing to become if I stop letting fear and doubt run my life? The answer to those questions will shape your destiny. There's a moment in every journey when you hit a wall. Maybe you felt it before, the invisible barrier that rises up just when you start to make progress. It's the voice that says, "This is too hard. You're not cut out for this. Turn back before you embarrass yourself." That wall is not a sign that you should quit. It's a sign that you're getting close to something important. It's a test, a rite of passage, a challenge that every person who's ever changed their life has faced. Most people see the wall and stop. They tell themselves a story about why it's not meant to be, why it's safer to stay where they are, why it's better to lower their expectations. But you're not most people. You're here because you want more. You're here because you know deep down that you're capable of more. The wall is not your enemy. The wall is your invitation to rise. Let's break it down. Every time you push through discomfort, every time you do something hard, you're building a new identity. You're teaching yourself that you can handle adversity, that you can survive failure, that you can thrive in uncertainty. That's how confidence is built, not by avoiding struggle, but by facing it head-on and coming out the other side. Think about the last time you did something you were afraid of. Maybe it was speaking up in a meeting, or starting a new project, or having a difficult conversation.
Stop. Right now. Before you do anything else, before you scroll, before you click away, I want you to listen. Because this is not just another video. This is not background noise. This is not something you play while you're half distracted, waiting for the next thing to happen. This is the moment that could split your life into before and after. This is the moment you remember years from now as the turning point, the moment you finally woke up. Most people never get a moment like this. Most people drift through life, eyes half open, hearts half closed, letting days slip by like water through their fingers. They wait for a sign, for a miracle, for someone to come and save them. But you're not most people. You're here. You pressed play. You're searching for something more, something real, something that will finally break the cycle. And that's not an accident. That's the first sign that you're ready for change. Let's get brutally honest. Comfort is a trap. It's a velvet cage, soft and safe, but it keeps you small. It keeps you stuck. Comfort whispers, stay here. Don't risk it. Don't reach. Don't dream. But comfort is a liar. The truth is, the price of progress is pain. The price of a new life is discomfort. The price of transformation is stepping into the unknown, even when every cell in your body wants to turn back. Maybe you're thinking, but I'm not ready. I'm not strong enough. I'm not disciplined enough. I'm not like those people who seem to have it all together. Let me tell you a secret. Nobody is ready. Nobody is born disciplined. Nobody is born with unbreakable confidence. Every person you admire, every person who's achieved something extraordinary, started exactly where you are, uncertain, afraid, doubting themselves. The difference is, they moved anyway. They acted anyway. They took the first step, even when their legs were shaking. So, what's holding you back? Is it fear of failure? Fear of judgment? Fear of not being enough? Or maybe it's the weight of your past, the mistakes you can't let go of, the regrets that haunt you at night. Maybe it's the voice in your head that says, "Who do you think you are?" That voice isn't your enemy. That voice is your invitation. It's the signal that you're standing at the edge of your comfort zone, and beyond that edge is everything you've ever wanted. Imagine for a moment that you could silence that voice. Imagine that you could look in the mirror and see not just your flaws, not just your failures, but your potential. Imagine that you could see yourself as the person you're capable of becoming, not just the person you've been. What would you do differently? What would you try? Who would you become? The truth is, you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to know the whole path. You just have to take the next step. You just have to move. Because action is the antidote to fear. Action is the cure for self-doubt. Action is how you build confidence, one small promise kept to yourself at a time. Let's talk about promises. How many times have you promised yourself you'd change? How many times have you said, "Tomorrow I'll start. Tomorrow I'll be better. Tomorrow I'll go after what I want"? And how many times has tomorrow come and gone, leaving you exactly where you started? It's not because you're weak. It's not because you're lazy. It's because you haven't learned to trust yourself yet. You haven't learned to keep your own promises. But that can change. It starts today. It starts now. I want you to think about the person you want to become. Not the person you think you should be. Not the person other people expect you to be, but the person you truly want to be. What does that person do every day? How do they think? How do they act? How do they treat themselves and others? Now ask yourself, what's one small thing you can do today to move closer to that version of yourself? Not a giant leap, not a complete overhaul, just one small step. Maybe it's getting out of bed when your alarm goes off instead of hitting snooze. Maybe it's going for a walk, even when you don't feel like it. Maybe it's reaching out to someone you care about, even if it feels awkward. Maybe it's saying no to something that drains you, or yes to something that scares you. Whatever it is, do it. Do it not because you feel like it, but because you're committed to becoming the person you want to be. This is how change happens. Not in a single dramatic moment, but in 1,000 small decisions, repeated day after day. This is how you build self-respect. This is how you build self-love. Not by waiting for motivation, but by creating momentum. Not by waiting for the perfect moment, but by acting in the present moment. You might be thinking, but what if I fail? What if I try and it doesn't work? Here's the truth. You will fail. You will fall short. You will make mistakes. That's not a possibility. It's a guarantee. But failure is not the end. Failure is feedback. Failure is the universe showing you what doesn't work, so you can find what does. The only real failure is quitting. The only real failure is giving up on yourself. So, as you listen to this, I want you to make a decision. Not a wish, not a hope, but a decision. Decide that you will no longer settle for a life of quiet desperation. Decide that you will no longer let fear dictate your choices. Decide that you will become the hero of your own story, starting right now. Think about this. Every story you've ever loved, every hero you've ever admired, every legend you've ever heard about, they all have one thing in common. At some point, they faced a moment of truth. A moment when the world told them to give up, to turn back. to accept less than what they were capable of. And in that moment, they made a choice. They chose to keep going. They chose to fight for something bigger than their fear. They chose to believe in a future that didn't exist yet, a future only they could see. You are standing at that same crossroads right now. Maybe your battle isn't on a battlefield. Maybe it's in your mind, in your heart, in the quiet moments when no one is watching. Maybe it's the struggle to get out of bed in the morning, to show up for yourself when you feel like you have nothing left to give. Maybe it's the courage to speak your truth, to chase a dream that no one else understands, to love yourself when it feels impossible. Whatever your battle is, it matters. It matters because you matter. Let's get real. The world will try to convince you that you're ordinary, that you should settle, that you should play by the rules, keep your head down, and not make too much noise. But the world is wrong. You were not born to be ordinary. You were not born to blend in. You were born to stand out, to make a mark, to live a life that means something. And that starts with a single decision: to stop waiting for permission and start giving yourself permission. Permission to dream, permission to fail, permission to try again, permission to be imperfect, to be messy, to be human. Because the truth is, nobody has it all figured out. Nobody is living a perfect life. The people you look up to, the people you think have it all together, they struggle too. They doubt themselves. They fall down. The difference is, they get back up. They keep moving forward, even when it's hard, even when it hurts. So, what does it take to change your life? It takes courage, not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of it. It takes discipline, not the kind that feels like punishment, but the kind that feels like self-respect. It takes vision, the ability to see beyond your current circumstances, to imagine a future that's bigger than your past. And it takes action, consistent, relentless action, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're tired, even when you want to quit. Let's talk about discipline for a moment. Most people think discipline is about restriction, about saying no to everything you want. But real discipline is about saying yes to what matters most. It's about making choices that align with your values, your goals, your dreams. It's about showing up for yourself day after day, even when nobody's watching. It's about keeping the promises you make to yourself, not because you have to, but because you deserve it. Discipline is freedom. It's the freedom to create the life you want, the freedom to become the person you were meant to be. It's the foundation of self-respect, the building block of confidence. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're telling yourself, I am worth it. My dreams are worth it. My future is worth it. And that message, repeated over time, changes everything. But let's be honest, discipline is hard. Change is hard. Growth is hard. There will be days when you want to give up, when you want to go back to your old ways, when you want to hide from the world. That's normal. That's human. The key is not to avoid those days, but to prepare for them. To have a plan for when motivation runs out, for when life gets messy, for when you feel like you're losing your way. Here's the secret. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get it right every time. You just have to keep going. You just have to refuse to quit. Because every time you get back up, every time you try again, you're building resilience. You're proving to yourself that you can handle whatever life throws at you. And that belief, that unshakable confidence in your own ability to endure, is the foundation of a life well lived. Now, let's talk about regret. The pain of discipline is temporary. The pain of regret lasts a lifetime. One day, you'll look back on your life. You'll remember the chances you took, the risks you embraced, the dreams you chased. Or you'll remember the opportunities you let slip by, the moments you played it safe, the times you let fear win. Which story do you want to tell? Which legacy do you want to leave?
But here's the thing. Courage is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The more you step outside your comfort zone, the more your comfort zone expands. What once felt impossible becomes routine. What once terrified you becomes just another part of your story. That's how growth works. That's how transformation happens. So how do you build courage? You start small. You do one thing every day that scares you, that stretches you, that challenges you. You make a habit of saying yes to opportunities, even when you don't feel ready. You practice being uncomfortable, knowing that every moment of discomfort is a step toward your goals. And when you fail, and you will fail, you don't let it define you. You don't let it become your identity. You learn from it. You grow from it. You use it as fuel for your next attempt. Because failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is the path to success. Every person who's ever achieved anything worthwhile has failed more times than they can count. The difference is, they didn't let failure stop them. They used it as a stepping stone. Let's talk about self-talk. The stories you tell yourself matter. The words you use to describe your life, your challenges, your dreams, they shape your reality. If you tell yourself you're not good enough, you'll find evidence to support that belief. If you tell yourself you're resilient, resourceful, and capable, you'll find evidence for that too. Your mind is always listening. Make sure you're feeding it the right story. Start paying attention to your inner dialogue. When you catch yourself thinking, I can't do this, add one word, yet. I can't do this yet. That single word opens the door to possibility. It reminds you that growth is a process, that mastery takes time, that you are always evolving. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. No one succeeds in isolation. Every hero has a mentor, a guide, a community that supports them. Find your people. Surround yourself with those who believe in you, who challenge you, who hold you to a higher standard. And be that person for someone else. Lift others as you climb. Share your struggles, your victories, your lessons learned. Because when you help others rise, you rise too. Now let's talk about purpose. Purpose is not something you find. It's something you create. It's the result of living with intention, of aligning your actions with your values, of choosing to make a difference in the world. Your purpose doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. It just has to be meaningful to you. It could be raising a family, building a business, creating art, serving your community, or simply becoming the best version of yourself. Purpose gives your life direction. It gives you a reason to get up in the morning, a reason to keep going when things get tough. It's the anchor that keeps you grounded, the compass that guides your decisions. When you know your purpose, you can endure almost anything. You can face any challenge, overcome any obstacle, because you know what you're fighting for. So ask yourself, what matters most to me? What do I want my life to stand for? What legacy do I want to leave? The answers to those questions will light your path, even in the darkest moments. You are not here by accident. You are not listening to this by chance. There is a reason you found these words, a reason you're feeling that spark of possibility. Don't ignore it. Don't let it fade. Use it. Let it be the fuel that drives you forward, the reminder that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. There's a truth that most people never realize until it's too late. Your life is a collection of moments, and every moment is a choice. Every day you're writing the story of who you are and who you're becoming. The question is, are you writing it on purpose, or are you letting someone else hold the pen? Are you living by design or by default? The difference between those two is everything. Think about the routines you follow, the habits you repeat, the thoughts you allow to circle in your mind. Are they building you up or breaking you down? Are they moving you closer to your dreams or further away? Most people never stop to ask these questions. They just keep moving, keep doing, keep surviving. But survival is not the same as living. You were not born just to get by. You were born to thrive, to create, to experience the full spectrum of what life has to offer. It's easy to get caught up in the noise of the world. Social media, news, opinions, expectations, they all pull at you, trying to shape your beliefs, your values, your sense of self. But the only voice that truly matters is the one inside you. The one that knows what you want, what you need, what you're capable of. The one that whispers, there's more for you. Don't settle, don't give up. But listening to that voice takes courage. It takes the willingness to be different, to stand out, to risk being misunderstood. It takes the strength to say no to what doesn't serve you, even when everyone else is saying yes. It takes the discipline to keep going, even when the results aren't immediate, even when progress feels invisible. Let's talk about habits. Your habits are the invisible architecture of your life. They shape your days, your weeks, your years. They determine whether you move forward or stay stuck. The good news is you have the power to change them. You have the power to design your life one habit at a time. Start small. Pick one habit that aligns with the person you want to become. Maybe it's waking up earlier, reading every day, moving your body, practicing gratitude, or setting aside time for reflection. Whatever it is, commit to it. Make it non-negotiable. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Just start. And when you slip, and you will, don't use it as an excuse to quit. Use it as a lesson. Ask yourself what got in the way and adjust. Progress is not about perfection. It's about persistence. There's a myth that change has to be dramatic. The transformation happens in a single life-altering moment. But real change is quiet. It's subtle. It's the result of 1,000 tiny decisions repeated over time. It's the choice to get up when you want to stay in bed, the choice to speak up when you want to stay silent, the choice to keep going when you want to give up. These choices add up. They become your life. And here's the thing. You are always one decision away from a completely different life. One decision to say yes instead of no. One decision to try again instead of giving up. One decision to believe in yourself even when no one else does. That's the power you hold. That's the responsibility you carry. But with that power comes fear. Fear of failure. Fear of judgment. Fear of the unknown. Fear is a natural part of growth. It's a sign that you're pushing your limits, that you're stepping into new territory. The goal is not to eliminate fear, but to learn how to move with it, to let it be a signal, not a stop sign.
There's a reason why so many people feel stuck, even when they have so much potential. It's not because they lack talent or intelligence or opportunity. It's because they've forgotten how to believe in themselves. Somewhere along the way, they started listening to the wrong voices, the critics, the doubters, the people who told them to be realistic, to play it safe, to lower their expectations. Maybe you've heard those voices too. Maybe you've even started to believe them. But here's the truth. The only limits that matter are the ones you accept. The only boundaries that exist are the ones you refuse to cross. The world will always try to put you in a box, to tell you who you are and what you can achieve. But you don't have to listen. You don't have to accept anyone else's definition of success. You get to decide what your life means. You get to choose what matters to you. So let's talk about belief. Belief is the foundation of everything. It's the fuel that drives action, the spark that ignites change. If you believe you can grow, you will. If you believe you can overcome, you will. If you believe you are worthy of more, you will find a way to create it. But belief isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, one choice at a time. Start by challenging your assumptions. When you catch yourself thinking, I can't do this, ask yourself, is that really true? Or is it just a story I've been telling myself? Most of the time, the limits you feel are self-imposed. They're the result of old patterns, old fears, old wounds. But you are not your past. You are not your pain. You are not your doubts. You are the author of your future, and you can write a new story. Belief grows through action. Every time you do something you thought you couldn't do, you prove to yourself that you're capable of more. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build trust. Every time you face a fear, you expand your comfort zone. It's not about being fearless. It's about being brave enough to act, even when you're scared. Let's talk about the power of small wins. Most people wait for a big breakthrough, a dramatic transformation, a moment when everything changes. But real change happens in the small moments, the daily choices, the quiet victories that no one else sees. When you set a goal and follow through, no matter how small, you send a message to yourself. I can do hard things. I can trust myself. I am capable. Those small wins add up. They become momentum. They become confidence. They become the foundation for bigger dreams. But you have to celebrate them. You have to acknowledge your progress, even when it feels insignificant. Too often we focus on what we haven't done, what we haven't achieved, how far we still have to go. But growth is a journey, not a destination. Every step forward matters. Every effort counts. Don't wait until you've reached the finish line to feel proud of yourself. Celebrate every mile, every milestone, every moment of courage. Now let's talk about setbacks. No journey is linear. There will be detours, obstacles, and moments when you feel like you're moving backward. That's normal. That's part of the process. The key is not to avoid setbacks, but to learn from them. When something doesn't go as planned, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? What will I do differently next time? Every setback is a lesson. Every failure is feedback. Every challenge is an opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Resilience is the ability to bounce back, to keep going when things get tough, to refuse to let adversity define you. It's not about never falling down. It's about always getting back up. It's about trusting that you have what it takes to handle whatever comes your way. And the more you practice resilience, the stronger you become. But resilience isn't something you have to do alone. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to lean on others. It's okay to admit that you're struggling. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's strength. It's the courage to be real, to be honest, to be human. When you share your struggles, you give others permission to do the same. You create connection. You build community. And together, you become unstoppable. So, as you move forward, remember this. You are not alone. You are part of something bigger. There are people who believe in you, who want to see you win, who are cheering you on from the sidelines. And even on the days when you feel like you have nothing left, remember that you have already survived every hard day you've ever faced. You are stronger than you think. You are braver than you know. And you are capable of more than you can imagine. This is your time. This is your chance to rewrite the story, to reclaim your power, to become the person you were always meant to be. Don't let fear hold you back. Don't let doubt steal your dreams. Don't let anyone else decide what's possible for you. The only permission you need is your own. There's a powerful shift that happens when you stop waiting for the world to change and start changing yourself. Most people spend their lives hoping for better circumstances, wishing for luck, waiting for someone to notice them or give them a break. But the truth is, the most successful, fulfilled people you'll ever meet didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for the stars to align. They decided to become the kind of person who creates their own opportunities, who shapes their own destiny, who takes responsibility for their own happiness. Responsibility is a word that scares a lot of people. It sounds heavy, like a burden. But real responsibility is freedom. It's the freedom to choose your response no matter what life throws at you. It's the freedom to decide how you show up, how you think, how you act, how you treat others, and how you treat yourself. When you take responsibility for your life, you stop being a victim of your circumstances. You become the author of your story. Think about the areas of your life where you feel stuck. Maybe it's your career, your relationships, your health, your finances, or your sense of purpose. Ask yourself, am I waiting for something to change, or am I willing to change myself? Am I blaming others, or am I looking for ways to grow? Am I focused on what I can't control, or am I taking action on what I can? The truth is, you can't control everything. You can't control other people, the past, or the future. But you can control your attitude. You can control your effort. You can control your choices. And those choices, repeated over time, shape your reality. Let's talk about mindset. Your mindset is the lens through which you see the world. It determines how you interpret events, how you handle challenges, and how you pursue your goals. There are two basic mindsets, fixed and growth. A fixed mindset believes that your abilities are set in stone, that you're either born with talent or you're not, that failure is something to be avoided at all costs. A growth mindset believes that you can learn, grow, and improve through effort and experience, that failure is a stepping stone, not a dead end. Which mindset do you want to live by? The choice is yours. Every time you face a challenge, you have an opportunity to choose growth. Every time you make a mistake, you have a chance to learn. Every time you feel fear, you have a chance to act with courage. Growth is not about being perfect. It's about being willing to try, to fail, to get back up, and to keep moving forward. Let's get practical. If you want to change your life, start by changing your questions. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" Instead of asking, "When will things get easier?" ask, "How can I get stronger?" Instead of asking, "Who will save me?" ask, "How can I save myself?" The quality of your questions determines the quality of your answers, and the quality of your answers determines the quality of your life. Now, let's talk about energy. Your energy is your most valuable resource. It's what fuels your actions, your creativity, your relationships, and your dreams. Protect it, guard it, invest it wisely. Pay attention to the people, habits, and environments that drain you and the ones that energize you. Choose to spend your time with people who lift you up, who challenge you, who inspire you to be better. Choose habits that nourish your body, your mind, and your spirit. Create environments that support your growth. You don't have to do everything at once. Start with one small change. Maybe it's going to bed earlier, drinking more water, moving your body, or spending less time on your phone. Maybe it's setting boundaries with people who drain your energy, or saying yes to opportunities that excite you. Whatever it is, make it a priority. Your energy is precious. Don't waste it on things that don't matter. Let's talk about gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools you have for changing your perspective and your life. When you focus on what you have, instead of what you lack, you create a sense of abundance. When you appreciate the small moments, the simple joys, the everyday miracles, you train your mind to see possibility instead of limitation. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring your challenges. It means choosing to see the good, even in the midst of difficulty. Start a gratitude practice. Every day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big or impressive. Maybe it's a warm cup of coffee, a kind word from a friend, a moment of peace in a busy day. Over time, you'll notice a shift. You'll start to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You'll start to feel more hopeful, more resilient, more alive. Remember, change is a process. It's not about overnight transformation. It's about small. So as you move forward, ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today to take responsibility for my life?
What's one small change I can make to protect my energy, to shift my mindset, to practice gratitude? Start there. Start now. The rest will follow. There's a quiet power in persistence, a kind of magic that only reveals itself to those who refuse to give up. Most people underestimate what they can achieve in a year, or even a decade, because they overestimate what they can do in a day. They want instant results, quick fixes, overnight success. But real change, real growth, real transformation, it's slow, it's steady, it's the result of showing up again and again, even when progress feels invisible. Think about the tallest trees in the forest. They didn't shoot up overnight. They grew inch by inch, season by season, weathering storms, surviving droughts, reaching for the sun. Your journey is no different. There will be days when you feel like nothing is happening, when your efforts seem pointless, when you wonder if you're wasting your time. But every step you take, every habit you build, every lesson you learn is a seed planted in the soil of your future. Persistence is not glamorous. It's not always exciting. Sometimes it's boring, repetitive, even lonely. But it's in those moments, when no one is watching, when no one is cheering you on, when you're tempted to quit, that your character is forged. That's when you prove to yourself that you're serious, that you're committed, that you're willing to do what it takes. Let's talk about setbacks. Everyone faces them. Everyone stumbles. Everyone has days when nothing goes right. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't talent or luck or intelligence. It's persistence. It's the willingness to get back up, to try again, to keep moving forward no matter what. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every failure is a lesson in disguise. Every obstacle is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, more resilient. So how do you stay persistent when motivation fades? How do you keep going when the excitement wears off? When the results are slow, when the world seems indifferent? You focus on your why. You remind yourself of the reason you started, the vision you're working toward, the person you want to become. You break your goals down into small, manageable steps, and you celebrate every bit of progress, no matter how small. You also learn to embrace the process. Most people are so focused on the outcome that they miss the beauty of the journey. They're so obsessed with the destination that they forget to enjoy the ride. But the process is where the magic happens. It's where you discover what you're made of. It's where you build the habits, the skills, the mindset that will carry you through any challenge. Let's talk about self-compassion. Persistence doesn't mean being hard on yourself or pushing through at all costs. It means being kind to yourself, especially when things get tough. It means giving yourself grace when you fall short and encouragement when you feel discouraged. It means treating yourself like you would treat a friend, celebrating your wins, forgiving your mistakes, and believing in your ability to grow. Self-compassion is not weakness, it's strength. It's the foundation of resilience, the fuel for persistence, the secret to long-term success. When you're kind to yourself, you're more likely to keep going, to try again, to bounce back from setbacks. You're more likely to take risks, to learn from failure, to keep moving forward no matter what. Now let's talk about the power of routine. Your routines are the scaffolding of your life. They create structure, stability, and momentum. When you build routines that support your goals, you make it easier to stay persistent even when motivation is low. Start by identifying the habits that matter most to you, the ones that move you closer to your vision, that make you feel alive, that help you grow. Make those habits non-negotiable. Build them into your day, your week, your life. Remember, it's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing something consistently. It's about showing up day after day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about trusting the process, believing in yourself, and knowing that every effort counts. Let's talk about the people you surround yourself with. Persistence is easier when you have support. Find people who believe in you, who encourage you, who hold you accountable. Share your goals with them. Ask for help when you need it. Celebrate your progress together. And be that person for others. Lift them up. Cheer them on. Remind them of their strength when they forget. You are not alone on this journey. There are people who want to see you win, who are inspired by your courage, who are rooting for your success. Lean on them. Learn from them. Grow with them. Finally, remember this: persistence is a choice. It's a decision you make every day to keep going, to keep growing, to keep believing in yourself and your dreams. It's not always easy. It's not always fun, but it's always worth it. So as you move forward, ask yourself, what am I willing to persist for? What dream is worth the struggle, the sacrifice, the effort? What kind of person do I want to become? Not just when things are easy, but when things are hard. The answers to those questions will guide you, sustain you, and carry you through any challenge. There's a moment in every journey when you realize that the only thing standing between you and the life you want is you. Not your circumstances, not your past, not the opinions of others, just you. That realization can be both terrifying and liberating. Terrifying because it means you can no longer blame anyone or anything else for where you are. Liberating because it means you have the power to change everything. Self-awareness is the key that unlocks this power. It's the ability to look at yourself honestly, to see your strengths and your weaknesses, your patterns and your blind spots. It's the courage to ask hard questions. What am I avoiding? What am I afraid of? What stories am I telling myself that keep me stuck? Most people never do this work. They stay busy, distracted, comfortable. But comfort is the enemy of growth. If you want to change your life, you have to be willing to get uncomfortable. You have to be willing to face yourself. Start by paying attention to your thoughts. Notice the stories you tell yourself about who you are and what you're capable of. Are they empowering or limiting? Are they based on truth or on fear? Challenge the beliefs that hold you back. Ask yourself, is this really true? Or is it just a story I've accepted? You have the power to rewrite your story, to choose new beliefs, to create a new reality. Let's talk about the power of questions. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask yourself. Instead of asking, why does this always happen to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of asking, what if I fail? Ask, what if I succeed? Instead of asking, what will people think? Ask, what do I think? What do I want? What matters to me? The answers to these questions will guide you toward a life that's true to you. Self-awareness is not about judgment. It's not about beating yourself up for your mistakes or your flaws. It's about understanding yourself so you can make better choices. It's about seeing where you are so you can decide where you want to go. It's about taking responsibility for your life, not as a burden, but as a privilege. Let's talk about forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful acts of self-love. It's the decision to let go of the past, to release resentment, to free yourself from the weight of old wounds. Forgiveness is not about excusing bad behavior or pretending that pain didn't happen. It's about choosing to move forward, to stop letting the past define your future. When you forgive, you create space for healing, for growth, for new possibilities. Start by forgiving yourself. Let go of the mistakes you've made, the opportunities you've missed, the times you fell short. You are human. You are learning. You are growing. Every experience, good or bad, has shaped you into the person you are today. Honor your journey. Embrace your imperfections. Give yourself permission to start again. Now let's talk about vision. Vision is the ability to see beyond your current circumstances, to imagine a future that excites you, that inspires you, that pulls you forward. Most people live their lives reacting to what's in front of them instead of creating what they want. But you have the power to design your future. You have the power to set a vision for your life and to take action every day to make it real. Start by asking yourself, what do I want my life to look like in 1 year? In 5 years? In 10 years? What kind of person do I want to become? What experiences do I want to have? What impact do I want to make? Write it down, make it vivid, make it specific. The clearer your vision, the stronger your motivation. But vision alone is not enough. You have to take action. You have to break your vision down into goals, and your goals down into steps. You have to create a plan and then work that plan day after day, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it. Consistent action, fueled by a compelling vision, is unstoppable. Let's talk about the power of environment. Your environment shapes your behavior, your mindset, your results. If you want to change your life, change your environment. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who challenge you, who believe in your dreams. Create spaces that support your growth, that remind you of your goals, that make it easy to do the right thing, who encourage your dreams. There's a lesson that life will keep teaching you until you finally learn it. You are the creator of your reality. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every action you take is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. If you want to change the picture, you have to change the way you paint. This isn't just about positive thinking or wishful dreaming. It's about conscious creation. It's about taking ownership of your power, your choices, your future. Let's talk about intention. Intention is the force that shapes your actions, your habits, your results. When you live with intention, you move through life on purpose. You make decisions that align with your values, your goals, your vision. You stop drifting and start directing. You stop reacting and start creating. Living with intention means asking yourself, what do I want to experience today? Who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? It means making choices that reflect your highest self, even when it's hard, even when it's inconvenient. Start each day with intention. Before you check your phone, before you get swept up in the demands of the world, take a moment to set your focus. Decide what matters most. Decide how you want to feel, how you want to act, what you want to accomplish. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Remind yourself throughout the day. The more intentional you are, the more powerful you become. Let's talk about the power of language. The words you use shape your reality. They influence your thoughts, your emotions, your actions. When you speak with negativity, with doubt, with limitation, you reinforce those patterns in your mind. When you speak with possibility, with hope, with confidence, you open yourself to new opportunities. Pay attention to your language. Notice the words you use to describe yourself, your life, your challenges. Are they empowering or disempowering? Are they moving you forward or holding you back? Change your language and you change your life. Instead of saying, I can't, say, I'm learning. Instead of saying, I'm stuck, say, I'm growing. Instead of saying, this is too hard, say, this is a challenge, and I'm up for it. The words you speak become the beliefs you hold, and the beliefs you hold become the actions you take. Let's talk about the power of focus. Your attention is your most valuable asset. What you focus on expands. If you focus on problems, you'll find more problems. If you focus on solutions, you'll find more solutions. If you focus on what's missing, you'll feel lack. If you focus on what you have, you'll feel abundance. Train your mind to focus on what you want, not what you fear. Train your mind to look for the good, to seek out possibility, to find the lesson in every challenge. Distraction is the enemy of progress. In a world that's constantly vying for your attention, it's easy to get pulled in 1,000 different directions. But you have the power to choose where you place your focus. You have the power to say no to what doesn't serve you, to say yes to what matters most. Protect your attention, guard your focus, invest it wisely. Let's talk about the power of action. Nothing changes until you do. You can have the best intentions, the most empowering language, the sharpest focus. But if you don't take action, nothing happens. Action is the bridge between your dreams and your reality. It's the proof of your commitment, the evidence of your belief, the engine of your growth. Start small, take one step. Do one thing today that moves you closer to your vision. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be impressive. It just has to be real. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates results, and results create a new reality. Let's talk about the power of reflection. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens through awareness, through learning, through intentional reflection. Take time each day to look back on your actions, your choices, your progress. Celebrate your wins. Learn from your mistakes. Adjust your course as needed. Reflection turns experience into wisdom. It turns setbacks into stepping stones. It turns ordinary days into extraordinary growth. Let's talk about the power of contribution. The most fulfilling lives are not the ones focused solely on personal gain, but on making a difference in the lives of others. When you use your gifts, your talents, your experiences to serve others, you create meaning, you create connection, you create legacy. Contribution is not about grand gestures or public recognition. It's about small acts of kindness, moments of generosity, choices to lift others up. Ask yourself, how can I contribute today? How can I make someone's day better? How can I use what I have to help someone else? The more you give, the more you grow. The more you serve, the more you receive. The more you lift others, the higher you rise. Finally, remember that you are always evolving. You are not the same person you were a year ago, a month ago, or even yesterday. Every day is a new opportunity to create, to grow, to become. Don't let your past define your future. Don't let your mistakes limit your potential. Don't let your fears hold you back from the life you're capable of living. So as you move forward, ask yourself, what intention will I set today? What language will I use? What will I focus on? What action will I take? What lesson will I learn? What difference will I make? The answers to these questions will shape your reality, one day at a time. There's a quiet revolution that happens inside you when you realize that every day is a blank page, and you are the author. No matter what happened yesterday, no matter what mistakes you made or opportunities you missed, today is a new chance to choose differently, to act boldly, to live intentionally. Most people let their past dictate their future. They carry old stories, old wounds, old fears like heavy luggage, never realizing they can set it down at any moment. But you don't have to be most people. You can decide right now to write a new chapter. Let's talk about the power of decision. Every breakthrough begins with a decision, not a wish, not a hope, not a vague intention, a real decision. A decision to change, to grow, to let go, to move forward. Decisions are powerful because they cut off all other options. They create clarity, focus, and momentum. When you decide, truly decide, you unleash energy you didn't know you had. You stop negotiating with your limitations. You stop making excuses. You start finding solutions. Think about a time in your life when you made a real decision. Maybe it was to leave a job, to start a new project, to end a relationship, to move to a new city, to pursue a dream. Remember the feeling? The fear, the excitement, the sense of possibility? That's the power of decision. It's the moment you take your power back, the moment you stop waiting for permission and start giving yourself permission. But decisions alone are not enough. You have to back them up with action, with commitment, with consistency. You have to keep choosing every day to honor your decision, even when it's hard, even when you're tired, even when you want to quit. That's how you build trust with yourself. That's how you create lasting change. Let's talk about the power of identity. Your identity is the story you tell yourself about who you are. It's the beliefs you hold, the standards you set, the expectations you carry. Most people let their identity be shaped by their past, by other people, by circumstances. But you can choose your identity. You can decide who you want to be and then act in alignment with that vision. Start by asking yourself, who am I at my best? What qualities do I admire in others? What values matter most to me? What kind of person do I want to become? Write it down, make it real. Then every day ask yourself, what would that person do? How would they think, act, speak, and respond? The more you act in alignment with your chosen identity, the more natural it becomes. Over time, you become the person you've always wanted to be. Let's talk about the power of standards. Your standards are the invisible boundaries that shape your life. They determine what you tolerate, what you accept, what you expect from yourself and others. If you want to change your life, raise your standards. Decide that you will no longer settle for less than you deserve. Decide that you will no longer accept excuses, mediocrity, or self-sabotage. Decide that you will hold yourself to a higher standard, not out of perfectionism, but out of self-respect. Raising your standards is not about being hard on yourself. It's about honoring your potential. It's about refusing to settle for a life that's less than what you're capable of. It's about demanding more from yourself, not because you're not enough, but because you know you're meant for more. Let's talk about the power of legacy. Legacy is not just what you leave behind when you're gone. It's the impact you make every day, in every interaction, in every choice. It's the way you show up for yourself and others. It's the example you set, the values you embody, the love you give. Your legacy is being written right now in the way you live your life. Ask yourself, what do I want my legacy to be? What do I want people to remember about me? What difference do I want to make in the world? The answers to these questions will guide your actions, your decisions, your journey. Finally, remember that you are enough. You are worthy. You are capable. You are powerful beyond measure. You have everything you need to create a life that excites you, that fulfills you, that leaves a mark on the world. Don't wait for someday. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start now. Start where you are. Start with what you have. This is your life. This is your story. This is your moment. Make it count.